This is Andy Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by promoter Eddie Hearn here in Manchester. Eddie, good to see you. How are you?
Very good, thank you, Andy. I'm particularly good because we're here today to announce the signing of Pat Brown, but we're also on fight week for Birmingham, which means only one thing: the Railway Tavern.
The
Roll
Railway
up
Inn.
Friday night. Railway Inn. Let's change the name to Tavern. I think it sounds better.
Eddie, before we
You're
come
so
on to
happy, aren't you, to be going to the Railway Inn?
to be fair, when we sat down, just you brought it up
Yeah,
to me.
I did. No, because I was like, shit, it's Birmingham. Birmingham Fight Week. It's the Railway Inn.
Eddie, before we come into all glorious things Birmingham, here we are, Pat Brown. How excited are you for this journey that you're about to embark on together?
So exciting. I mean, we've got some great young talent, and this is the first Olympian that we're signing from Paris, but we've also signed one. There's another two, potentially three, to be announced over the next couple of weeks, but this is the only UK Olympian that we will be signing. And I get the question a lot, you know, who is the next star? Who's the one to look out for? And although we've got a lot of young talent, I kind of, you know, you look towards those big ticket sellers from major fight cities that have got really, really exciting styles. And for me, that's Pat Brown. And I knew about Pat well before Paris, but I've been following him, and obviously, you know, he linked up with Sam Jones, Jamie and Nigel, but I knew about how popular this kid was in this city, and I thought we got to get him because there's not many people like him coming through. And we won the race. You know, there was people throwing houses at him, literally, to try and sign him. And, you know, it was a real fun process, but competitive process. But I'm really pleased that he chose us. We won't let him down. And I'm looking forward to a massive future. He's a great talent. He's a great personality, and he's got the city behind him. He's going to be a huge star.
We saw the teaser signing, if you will, over social media. We've seen you today speaking very highly of him. When you look at what you want to do with him, how would you compare him to past, say, Olympians you've signed? Where does he stand in amongst
Right
the
up
push
there.
you've
I
given?
mean, I think the difference is with Pat is he's an immediate arena filler. And you'll see that in March, where he will fill his own arena on his debut. And not only that, fans love exciting styles. You know, fans love to watch guys that come to fight. And he's a fucking animal, an animal. And you will love watching Pat Brown fight. And, you know, the route, the method is very simple. We've done it time and time again. Make this guy a star. Box him regularly, not just in Manchester, not all around, just around Britain, but all over the world as well. Build his profile. And you saw that by, you know, the launch, the tease stuff. And you get some people say, oh, you know, it's Pat Brown. I thought it was going to be someone bigger because you put so much focus behind this. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're pushing this kid all the way. Perception is key. Fight fans need to understand this young man is going to be a superstar of British boxing. And when you've got someone that fights like him, just got to show you, and you'll love it.
People are used to, especially with those amateur standouts, see him and pushed a little bit quicker than, say, the likes of a Campbell Hatton or a Conor Benn. How quickly do you want to see?
Yeah, same with Pat. I mean, when these guys have got the pedigree they've got, when they've had the experience they've got, there's no need to hold them back. Also, when you've got someone who is going to be filling arenas in Manchester, you also want to get it right. But I don't want Pat to be treading water for too long. You know, probably start off, give him 4, 5, 6 rounders, move into 8s. And then as we move into the 10 rounders, I'd like to see him go traditional route. English title, British title, Commonwealth, European title. He's a big puncher and he's really exciting. And you're going to see him laying people flat out. And we want to go on a nice run all over the world, laying people flat out. And that's going to be the mood. He loves a tear-up.
You mentioned that Pat's the only one from the GB team from the 2024 Olympics you'll be picking up. One name I wanted to get your thoughts on is Delicious Orie. Now, there's a lot of talk whether he's going to go down the pro route or if he's going to go into the WWE. You've had a big say in heavyweights over the years. Obviously, we've seen the success with Anthony Joshua. Has there ever been a temptation there?
Yeah, there is. I mean, actually, you know, I don't rule out the signing of Delicious Orie. You know, we've had a conversation with him. I think everybody has, until he makes a decision on his future in boxing. I hope he stays in boxing. He's a tremendous talent, very marketable. So, you know, in terms of other UK Olympians, correction. I wouldn't rule him out. That's not imminent for us, but he would be a fantastic addition. And the other Olympians that we signed are from 3 different countries, and they'll be announced shortly.
Eddie, you mentioned earlier Birmingham, Edwards, Yafai,
Yes.
a massive fight, a massive night. Obviously a railway to look forward to as well. But what do you expect to see from that?
Great night, big ticket sale. By far our biggest ticket selling event since Amir Khan. I hope we can get close to 7,000, which is great, not just for British boxing, but for you guys as well, bringing those major events to Birmingham. Shout out to all the fight. The card's huge. I mean, I rattle off fights all the time. It's difficult for me to do so. You know, obviously, Sonny Edwards against Galal Yafai, just a brilliant all-British matchup. I just love the fight. It's a pure 50-50 fight, but so many good fights on the card as well. Kieran Conway, you know, in a really good fight for the Commonwealth middleweight title. Cameron Vong, big step up against Gavin Gwynn. Lewis Ritson against Conor Walker is going to be an absolute war. You've got Callum Smith on the card. You've got Hamza Uddin. You've got Ibrahim Suleiman. You've got Aaron Bowen. You've got Taylor Bevan making his professional debut from the GB podium squad as well. I'm sure I've missed some, but it's a really big card.
Callum Smith.
Callum Smith. Who could forget Callum Smith? He's on early, though, just a little run out. And, of course, you know, it's a massive show in Birmingham as we gear up to 3 really big weeks. 4 really big weeks, including Birmingham. Birmingham, of course, Puerto Rico for Hitchins against Paro. I think it's one of the top fights at 140 pounds. Monaco, and then Usyk Fury to close.
How much of a factor do you think Sonny not being with Grant Smith will be for this fight now?
I don't know. I mean, Sonny's a very intelligent fighter. I think, you know, you always need a great trainer behind you, but Sonny is experienced and has the mind, and he knows what he's doing. So, you know, I guess we'll never know till he gets in there. But Sonny's been quite quiet, which means he's extremely focused for this fight. This fight, and when I say it's personal, I mean, we'll see the animosity in the next few days. But this means a lot to both. This means a lot to both families. And this means a lot to their careers. You know, you lose this fight, your world title ambitions are on the back burner. And both guys are in the sport to be world champions. I have to give huge credit to both for taking this fight. This is exactly the kind of fight we want to see in British boxing. And you're going to see a cracker on Saturday in Birmingham.
Just one on Callum Smith as well, Eddie. Carlos Galvan, his opponent. How did you land on that? And what's the hope from this fight?
He's been training, but he had like 2 weeks' notice. He'll be on before the bell in a quiet arena because we've got massive plans for him to be in a huge fight in February or March. And he didn't want to come off that Beterbiev layoff and defeat without a run-out. I'm not selling you it's a tough fight. I'm not selling you, oh, it's a tricky. He's going to go in there. He's going to blow the cobwebs off, hopefully look good, and then go pretty much straight into his next camp for what will be a very important fight for his career.
Eddie, Feb 22nd, Shakur Stevenson-Zepeda was the fight he was pursuing. Obviously, William had quite a difficult fight with Tevin Farmer recently, and now he's picked up an injury, delaying that fight. What did you make of his performance against Farmer? And secondly, where do you go now with Shakur?
Well, I mean, look, Tevin Farmer's a good fighter. I mean, let's not get it twisted. He's very skillful. He's pretty awkward as well. I think Zepeda's been a little bit overhyped, if I'm honest. And I don't think Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya want that fight with Shakur Stevenson. Oscar's not an idiot. He knows. You know, this is the sad thing about boxing. Rather than take on greatness in Shakur Stevenson, I believe that Oscar would rather not lose to Matchroom. So we won't give him that fight. Let's just keep building his record. Take a chance. You never know. When a fighter steps up at that level, sometimes they perform. And it's for the World Championship. The fight's been ordered. You know, if he's got a hand injury, but I don't believe they're going to take that fight. So for Shakur now, we had calls with and His Excellency. We would like to make the Barancic unification. There's other fights that we're looking at. Murataya, top rank about. And we've now made Golden Boy an offer for Kid Schofield. It's a massive offer. And I'm sick and tired of these people talking on Twitter. Make the fight. Kid Schofield, great young talent, be a great build-up. You've got nothing to lose. You've got a load of money and a great opportunity. So hopefully one of those fights will be made. And I think there'll be an announcement on February 22nd from His Excellency, perhaps even this week.
Just to throw it out there, because it was obviously previously going to happen, Joe Cordina not in the running now, or?
No, I mean, I think that, you know, we mentioned Cordina for the fight. I think that the plan the main plan would be to fight Barancic for a unification, but obviously, top rank, there's a few issues surrounding that as well, but I think it might come from those other two, if not Barancic.
Virgil Ortiz, Ennis. Those talks seem to be progressing now, Eddie. What can you tell me?
Yeah, they are progressing. I mean, there's still a lot of obstacles to come through, and we've got a call with Dubois later. Obviously, he wants to defend his 147-pound title. After the last fight, he felt that maybe it was time to move. He does want to unify the division, but he would be more than open to a fight with Virgil Ortiz as well. So we're talking to the other champions, we're talking to Virgil Ortiz, and we'll make a decision this week on the next step for Ennis.
Do you have a somewhat of a front runner for what could be next for Ennis?
I like the the offer that we had was to fight Virgil Ortiz at 147, which is interesting because we get to keep our title, but maybe there's a move at 54 as well.
Could Ortiz still make 147?
I don't know. I mean, that's the correspondence we received, so I'm not sure if that's for at some point. Behind, so it's a big decision for Duran, and it will be made this week.
I've also seen Benn say that talks are underway for a potential Mario Barrios fight. I know you're talking about the Eubank fight in the background, but on the Barrios front, what can you tell me?
Yeah, I reached out to Louis de Cubas. No real negotiations yet, but I just reached out to Louis de Cubas and said, look, I'd be very interested in the Barrios fight. You got the Conor Benn fight for Barrios, you got the Boots fight for Barrios. It's an interesting situation because you've got the toss-up between the Eubank fight for Conor Benn, the biggest fight in British of money in London, and potentially win the WBC Welterweight World Championship, but less money, Yep. So it's a tough decision, but we'll be making that decision over the next couple of weeks, and we need to get it right.
Have there been any further correspondence about the NADP, the UCAD's potentially appealing the NADP's decision?
I've not heard anything about it, no.
Just away from that one, Dubois and Beterbiev calling out Jake Paul, Eddie.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think obviously as a fighter you want big paydays, and if you fight Jake Paul, you're going to get a big payday, but we know that Jake is not going to fight those kind of guys. I don't blame him either. I think he might fight Canelo because the money would be out of control. But yeah, I mean, I think sometimes people just say things and without necessarily thinking about it. Mate, is there one of those cortados there somewhere, isn't it? And but yeah, obviously not going to happen.
Beterbiev did put up a poll yesterday and put on Twitter, do you think we should see the Bivol rematch?
Yeah.
Do you think we do?
I'm very confident. Watch this space. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll get some news on that soon.
Also, the WBO ordering Catterall, Barboza. Yeah. Is that the one which we should expect to see next?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got Liam Paro fighting Richardson Hitchens next week. It's a great fight. I'd like to see Jack fight the winner of that fight, but also he's got a final eliminator against Barboza, which is a brilliant fight. Barboza's coming off a big win against Ramirez. What's going to happen with Teofimo? You could find that Catterall Barboza is for a vacant title. So watch this space, but Jack's next fight is scheduled for February, and Barboza or the Paro Hitchens winner, the two front runners right now.
And last one from me, Eddie, Anthony Joshua. I know that it's not going to be Dubois next for him. Are you confident that when he does return next year, I've seen you say May, June time, it will be for a title?
It might be Dubois for him. I mean, I think when AJ comes back, which has probably been May or June, he will fight Dubois or Fury. That's it. I don't see any other fights.
What if Usyk beats Fury?
Fine. I mean, still, you do two Fury-AJ fights, still the biggest fight in the world, but hopefully Fury beats Usyk and he can fight AJ for the World Heavyweight Championship. But if not, AJ wants to fight Dubois. This is not, we don't want the rematch. This is, we're not ready for February 22nd. But AJ's desperate to rematch Dubois, and I believe AJ's next fight will be Dubois or Tyson Fury.
Eddie, thank you, and I'll see you in Birmingham.
See you there, mate.